Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. Hi, how are you? Greg Fitzsimmons, your host. They call me Grapefruit Simmons sometimes, and this jersey was designed for me by a guy named Adrian Myers. I think I showed it on the podcast once before. It's got 99 on there for the great one, Wayne Gretzky, and it's beautiful. Thank you again, Adrian, and also people have been sending me nice shit. I got 2 pairs of fucking really high-end, expensive running sneakers from a guy, Ryan Vale. Shout out to him. He got me running again. I hadn't been running for a while. I had some ankle issues. I had some motivation issues. I had laziness, quarantine issues. Got these sneakers and I've been running to the beach. The beach is, it's about a mile. So I run to the beach and I run back. And now I've done that about 4 times this week. And now I'm going to start running to the beach and up the beach and then back. And let's see how I feel. I think I'm going to feel good. I'm 54, but I'm keeping the dream alive. When I run, I think the key is what you listen to. I put a lot of thought into it. It's got to be something that I dig the lyrics. It's got to be upbeat. It's got to be cool. And so yesterday I listened to Hello Nasty by the Beastie Boys, which is one of the great fucking hip-hop rap albums of all time. Their fucking rhymes are so goddamn funny. On Hello Nasty, there's one, I'm the king of Boggle. There is none higher. I get 11 points off the word quagmire. Come on. Sometimes I like to brag. Sometimes I'm soft-spoken. When I'm in Holland, I eat pan and koken. Pan and koken. Come on. That'll get you to the beach and back. When it comes to beats, I'm a fiend. I like my sugar with coffee and cream. You know what I find when I'm running, though, is my pace is not steady. I time myself, and I run about 9-minute miles. But if I run past people that look young and in shape, if they're walking, I will run much faster in front of them. Attractive woman in some fucking yoga pants, I'm picking up the pace. If there's a guy who looks like he can kick my ass, he's bigger, I kind of feel like a pussy, and I run hard. This is just a look inside of me. I'm trying to be honest with you people. I'm trying to be vulnerable. These are my insecurities. If I was a stronger man, I'd keep a solid pace. But no, I adjust. My worst fear is that somebody will see me running and they will think, wow, he's barely going faster than me walking. Took a monster hike last weekend. We went down to Laguna, which is a fucking cool little beach town about an hour south of L.A. You know, the Laguna Hills. Was that the TV show, Laguna Hills? Was on for many years, and we went there, but you start getting into Orange County, and people wonder why there's so many COVID cases in California, and it's because of Orange County. There's people down there that they're angry. It's not that they just prefer not to wear a mask and leave it at that. They're angry that other people are, and we pull into Laguna, and the first thing we see is there's a guy with he's got a MAGA hat on and an American flag, and he's waving it, and there's a sign on the ground. I wish I remember what it said, but it was something about masks, like masks are for pussies. And like, to what end? What's the point of you waking up, having some breakfast, getting dressed, and going, I think I'll go out and promote behavior that will lead to people dying. That literally will lead to people dying. Like, you look at what's his name? Who was the black Republican who ran for president and he just died? I can't remember his name. But he was at that Oklahoma rally with no mask, proudly wearing no mask, and now he's fucking dead. That's what happens. It's a fucking causal relationship. Anyway, it's my me and my wife's anniversary today. 21 years, going strong. A lot of love, a lot of respect, a lot of laughs, a lot of intimacy, and she is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Totally accepted. She just fucking accepts me. What else can you ask for in a partner? And I find no flaws with her. I'm so fucking lucky. I look at so many people getting divorced, and they're all ugly, and they're brutal. And I'm so glad, beyond all of this, that I'm never gonna have to go through a divorce, because I would hate to fucking ruin Erin's life, to destroy her and leave her penniless on the streets. I don't want to do that, and I'm so glad that's not going to happen. Don't fucking test me. Bad week. Very bad. I'm not very enamored with show business right now. I had a deal. I don't know if you followed the podcast, but about 2 months ago, me and my buddy, Mike Dugan, we went out and we pitched a show to some networks. Not as many. We had about 7 networks lined up. And after, I think we got into 2 or 3 rooms to pitch before they shut everything down with the pandemic, and so nobody could pitch. One of the networks, which will remain unnamed, bought the show. They bought it. So we're going to make a deal. We're going to buy your show. Great. We celebrate, tell our families. I announce it on the podcast. And then that particular network had some executives fired, and I guess somebody higher up was fired. And so the deal was rescinded. It was taken away. So, of course, we're bummed, and seems unfair, and you're upset. And then about 3 or 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I get a call from my agent. That same network, now with the new executives, has decided to buy the show again. More champagne, more excitement with the family. Heart soars. I'm going to make it. After 31 years, I'm going to make it. So that happened. And then 2 days ago, my agent called and said that same network that bought it, dropped it, bought it again, is now once again dropping the fucking show. Just randomly going, nope, sorry. I know you guys have been waiting for 3 weeks for your lawyer to get the deal, but now we're gonna flush it again. And what the fuck is that? It's like, I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship. It's like, hey, do you want me? Do you not want me? That's what this fucking town does to you. And the worst thing is, if they came to us again with the offer, I would go, yes, I'll come back. I'll be your fucking doormat. Jesus fucking Christ. So that was bad. And then, of course, my old boss, Ellen DeGeneres. If you don't know, I was a writer-producer in the first 2 years of that show. Helped get it going. And the show seems to be in a little... I don't know if you have the internet, but apparently there's some people saying, and it's not me, I'm not saying it, I have a non-disclosure agreement. I wouldn't say it. And you'll notice a lot of people are not saying things on the record. There's a lot of anonymous sources saying that the work environment there was toxic, that there was a lot of sexual harassment, that there was cruelty, there was bullying, and that Ellen was aware of it and fostered it. That's the word on the street. There's it's bad. It's really fucking bad. And again, I'm not saying any of these things. I'm just reporting what's been said. And that there's a lot of talk now that she's going to no longer do the show. That she's going to step away Who knows if that's just rumors? I can't imagine after all this dirt, her walking on stage and dancing in front of a bunch of screaming housewives. I can't see that anybody's soul would be that dead that they'd be able to put that face on and interview fucking Mario Lopez about his fine work doing movie previews on the Hotel Channel. I don't know what you talk to Mario Lopez about. Why am I dragging him into this? Another comedian has been canceled. I won't get into that today. We'll deal with it once there's more information available. But it's ugly. It's nauseating, if it's true. And it's a lot of it. It's a lot of bad behavior, and it's a lot of, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. What else? Sports are back. Yesterday I watched 2 days ago I watched the first baseball game of the season. It was the Dodgers and the Astros, which was kind of a big deal because if you don't remember, the Astros cheated last season and they won the World Series under duress. And the Dodgers, of course, were the victims of that. So everybody was watching this game to see what was going to happen. And sure enough, fucking Joe Kelly on the mound throws a 96-mile-an-hour fastball behind the head of Alex Bregman. Like literally, the guy had to move his head forward to get out of the way of the pitch. And then he brushed some guys back. He starts fucking taunting them. There was a fight. Benches cleared. It was fucking great. Fuck those cheaters. Those pieces of shit. One of the worst things to happen to baseball. So maybe that cleared the air. And then I watched some basketball last night with my son. We watched the Lakers and the Clippers, who are the two number 1 and 2 teams in the West. And what a fucking game. I mean, it was just Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James going head-to-head. LeBron wins it with seconds left. He doesn't even look for a pass. He's got fucking 15 seconds on the clock. And the only thing he's looking at is the 3 guys defending him and the fucking hoop. And he drives at it. Puts up this ugly mid-air shot, which just fucking clunks the front of the rim. Pops back out. Who's there? LeBron. Catches the ball with 2 hands and just fucking fluffs it in for the win. It's pretty sweet. Not a huge basketball fan. I only watched it because my son is very into it. So he talks me through the game. But I haven't watched a lot of basketball lately. And nobody has, but in the last few years. All right, let's get to, well, I forgot to mention, Loni Love is my guest. I talked to her this past week, and she's a doll, and she's a good friend. We've worked we'll set it up when I do her intro, but that's today's guest. It's not a long interview because I guess she's got a busy schedule. So I was only able to grab her for about 25 minutes, and but it was good. It was worth it. It'll all be worth it, everybody. But I figured I'd hit some mail. We'll do some what do we call them? Aphorisms? Is that the word? Colloquialisms? We're going to do some of those. First, a letter. This comes from Harold von Anus III. I think he's a doctor, or he's certainly an expert, and you'll hear in this letter what his expertise is. So this is a letter from Harold. I'm going to drop some knowledge on you, Greg, that I hope you will appreciate. You're douching your asshole wrong. I've got a bidet, and I complained about it. I've had the Hello Tushy bidet for a couple years now, and it's changed my life. I opted for the deluxe model that you can easily attach to the hot water line from the sink. Definitely worth the extra $20. It's nice to have a squeaky clean shit pipe and to not have to buy toilet paper nearly as often, which leads me to your fatal flaw. Stop using TP after bideting your balloon knot. I keep a little stack of cotton towels. Tushy sells bamboo towels, but my starfish ain't that fancy. On the back of the shitter and softly dab my turd cutter after a thorough crack spritz. Now, this may seem unsanitary at first glance, but if you've got the nozzle properly aimed, you'll only need to be dabbing your shithole dry, as wiping will be unnecessary at this point. I never had to deal with skitch marks or dingleberries. The ass towels always stay clean because, again, I'm not wiping Tide Nuggets out of my prison pocket after I drop the kids at the pool. I'm just dabbing a perfectly clean back pussy. I hope this inspires you enough to try the bidet again. Your presumably hairless Irish potato shooter won't be sorry. Peace, HVA the Third. Listen, a lot of good knowledge in there. I think it's important in life. Find something you love. I can't say this enough to the young people. Find something you love that you're passionate about and really throw yourself into it. And I think that is what Harold Van Anus III has done. And he's sharing that knowledge with us. Okay, let's get to some colloquialisms. This comes from Joanne Hoover, who says, my dad would say, quote, why, he's a fart smeller. I mean, smart feller. Ask me how much I enjoy flipping words and saying something funny. The math of it, the humor of it, the perfection of that particular one. He's a fart smeller. I mean, a smart feller. I'm fucking using that all the time. Every person over the age of 7 hears that from me from now on. James Cahill wrote, growing up in Newfoundland, if someone was good with their hands, perhaps a good mechanic or welder, he, quote, could put an arse in a cat. My grandfather would say he's hungry enough to eat a boiled child. I guess if you were going to eat human flesh, you would boil it, because it would just make it soft enough that it would require less chewing and you could almost swallow it, as opposed to really frying it where the skin gets crispy and has more taste. I think you boil the child. Pat Murphy says, hey, Greg, whenever my mom, Scottish, would yell at us for doing something stupid, she would say, you're thick as shit and twice as stupid. That's pretty good. You know, you wonder as a kid, if you have Scottish or Irish parents, you receive this kind of abuse on a regular basis. And how well you process it might determine your self-esteem for the rest of your life. Now, for some people, being called that just makes them laugh. For other people, like you look at Neil Brennan and Kevin Brennan, the Brennan brothers. Same parents, different experience. Kevin swears everything was fine. Neil will tell you at length about how fucked up his parents were. So, I mean, my parents said they did some fucked up shit that we all laughed at. It was all a joke. It was all funny. But I do wonder sometimes if it had an effect on me. I'm not sure. J.D. Grant said, standing in line at a Little Caesars Pizza when God sends me this wonderful black woman. She's, I guess she's in line at Little Caesars Pizza, and she's talking to somebody who's got their headphones on. She says, first of all, take your fucking headphones off. Second, your music sucks dick anyway. I need some fucking cheese sticks cooking. Sometimes you got to set the stage for yourself. Sometimes you got to go into a situation. You got to assess the layout, the terrain, and you got to go, we need some changes made here, and I need some fucking cheese sticks cooking. Nick Rowland was fishing in Utah near a stream that a barbed wire fence ran across. Attached to a post was a makeshift wooden ladder where two men were about to climb over. As the first man is climbing over, the second man loudly says, hey, let me hold your rod. That's what overheard is all about. That's what it's about. Somebody says something and it's a double entendre. It's as simple as that. Hear it, Write it down, send it to me. I say it on the show. Nothing better than the double entendre. Because you don't have to say anything. You just have to hear it. You have to suppress a smile and feel joy that stays with you. Here's another one. Another good example. This is from Michelle Wager. No, it's pronounced Wager. Husband and I sitting at the bar. Food runner comes out with a pizza and a sandwich. Waitress says to the food runner, pointing to a diner at the bar, "This guy has the 12-inch. And then his female companion exclaimed, "Oh, that's small." She said small in a very disappointed tone. Yeah, just enjoy that. Comedy doesn't have to be complex. We don't have to be doing fucking Mr. Show or Monty Python. Just a double entendre that makes you smile. Keep it simple, everybody. There's a fucking pandemic going on right now. Take what you can get. Speaking of what you can get, don't forget the other podcast, of course, is the Sunday Papers. It is literally growing by leaps and bounds every week. The listenership, people are loving it. It is got its own URL, though. You have to go and search Sunday Papers. People keep expecting it to show up on this feed because that's how it started, but it's now its own podcast. And we've added a little 20-minute Thursday paper to prime you for the weekend. So check out those two podcasts. Also, my fourth podcast. That's right. Some of us are fucking working. Is Childish with Allison Rosen, which has been running for about a year and a half. I love Allison. Love doing the show with her. Check that out. That comes out on Wednesdays. Also, new T-shirts just arrived. They are the Grapefruit Simmons T-shirts. Go to my website, fitzdog.com, to pick them up. You can also get the audiobook, the link to listen to my audiobook, Dear Mrs. Fitzsimmons, there. And as always, we encourage you to get the premium membership for Fitzdog Radio. It's available again at fitzdog.com. It's about $19 for 850 back episodes with all your favorites. So get involved with that. All right, let's do it. Let's talk to my guest. She is just super funny, great sense of humor, strong woman, great life. We're going to talk a little bit about her book, her memoir, her life. She's one of the hosts of The Real, which she won the Daytime Emmy for Best Host. I don't know if it was this year, but recently, which means Ellen DeGeneres didn't win it that year. Goddamn shame. We know each other from years and years of doing VH1 shows together. I love the 80s, 70s, 90s, Best Week Ever, and then we used to do Chelsea Lately together all the time. And she's terrific. Here is my talk with Loni Love. Loni Love, welcome.
Good to see you again, Greg.
It's very weird to interview you after having been. We are co-panelists on many shows over the years.
Yeah, we've been co-hosts.
Yeah, really hoes. Like there was a time where if VH1 called and said, "Will you love the '70s?" We said yes. Will you love the '80s? Yeah. The new millennium? Yes.
The 1800s? It's like yes. I love the Emancipation Proclamation. Yes. Just.
Oh, that must have felt sweet to have to agree to that one. That's when the bank account's low. When a black woman is saying, "I love the 1800s."
The 1800s. Emancipation part, okay.
Yeah, I had Frederick Douglass posters up on my wall. Well, welcome. It is great to see you. And I guess Chelsea, we should talk about Chelsea a little bit because we both were on that show. I looked up on IMDb. You did it 111 times.
Really?
That's almost $90,000.
That bitch will not pay. Huh?
No, and she made you work too. When you were on the show, it was basically your show, and Chelsea was a panelist.
He's so sweet. You know, we would have fun though. And I think the thing that I liked about the show, Greg, was that it at least, you know, gave exposure to stand up again. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know about you, but it upped my rate for going out on the road. So I was thankful for that. So, you know, but yeah, we didn't get paid. People thought, yeah, you on TV every night.
Yeah. Right. And it was work too, because you didn't just get on the panel. You had to spend the entire morning. They'd send you the questions, the topics about 3 or 4 hours before.
Yeah.
And then I would just get up. I would take some Ritalin, 2 cups of coffee, I'd sit in a chair, and I was like Beavis and Butthead. Just
yeah, you try to come up with an angle with joke writing is really hard. And this is the thing. You didn't know if the joke worked because you didn't try it out until you were there on the show.
Right.
So it's like you hoped it worked. And most of the time, you know, we would all cover each other if something didn't work. Right. But people didn't realize we were just writing on the fly. Yeah. After 2 or 3 hours. That was it, you know, so.
But that's the thing about VH1. And I mean, because you go back to I Love or Best Week Ever. You did Best Week Ever also, right?
Yeah.
And that was like, you were sent topics, I think the day before, and it was, or at least the day before. And I mean, it was a full day of hard work. And a lot of people would hire somebody to help them write. So that's a couple $100 out of your pocket, depending on what you pay them.
Well, I mean, I didn't even have that type of money to pay somebody. So I would have to do it. And you know what? And I was on World's Dumbest. And I would have to write, you know, they would send us the CDs. Back then, CDs. Yeah. And we would have to, you know, go through the whole episode and try to write jokes for the whole episode. Yeah. And we would do maybe 3 or 4 episodes in one sitting. Yeah. So, you know, you're trying to come up with at least 30 or 40 jokes just for that to see which one made the cut. So it was not, it's not an easy job, you know.
And none of it was usable in your act afterwards. It's not like you walked away and went, oh, I'm going to go to the Improv tonight and do all this new material I got about fucking 1978 about how much I like Starsky and Hutch. So how much stand-up are you doing these days? No, I mean, not these days, the last 3 months, but I mean in the last couple of years.
Last couple of years, I still do my road gigs. Summer was always my good time. I would do maybe 40, 50 shows a year. Yeah. You know, when I'm not doing the TV show, then I would go out, or I would, you know, go out at least once a month and try to, you know, get my chops up. Right. You know, just keep it up, you know, so.
You do local spots in LA?
Sometimes, but sometimes I just don't have time. Greg, I'm busy.
I know you're busy. I didn't know how busy you were. I looked on your IMDb page, man. My finger got sore from scrolling down to see more credits. Damn. I hope you're making a lot of money, because you're I know you have no social life.
Oh my goodness. I'm not making any money, Greg.
Yeah, right.
No, not. Seriously. It's hard out here for a pimp. Yeah. It really, really is. It's not like, you know, you make some money, like, and that's why you have to do so many different types of, you know, especially now, because the studios are so cheap. Yeah. They don't want to pay. You need the work. Yeah. You need the health care. That's the real reason why I want to work in television, so I can keep health care, decent health care. So I do that. But then you're still not getting paid as much. And then, you know, you supplement it with the stand-up gigs, and you hope you can get a few endorsements. But even endorsements don't pay the way they used to pay. And nobody pays the way everybody's like cut. Yeah. Everybody.
And then you're paying a publicist. I got to tell you something about your publicist. On it. I mean, I get some guests come on and the publicist forgets the dates even coming up. Alex sent me like bios and links and reminders, and you're in good hands over there.
Oh, well, thank you. I pay enough. And that's another thing. You got to pay for a team. Yeah. So, you know, you pay the attorney, the publicist, the manager, the business manager, the agent, the book agent. You know, it's just, you know.
And you got your accountant and your bookkeeper.
Oh, my God. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But anyway, let's talk about, you got a new memoir out, which is always amazing for comedians because we're such procrastinators. We were all bad in school. And now all of a sudden you got this book report that's like a monster. How was it writing it?
You know, it was a lot because they only gave me 4 months to write it.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave me 4 months to write it.
Someone helping you?
Yeah, I needed help because I was like, look, you know, my grammar isn't that great. So you need someone to help me finish my sentences and conjugate my vowels. And so, but we only had 4 months to do it.
You don't conjugate a vowel, Loni.
Yes, you do. See, that's why I needed you to help me conjugate those verbs.
I would have helped you.
I appreciate that.
And so it's called I Tried to Change So You Don't Have to, True Life Lessons. And it's just came out a couple weeks ago. So basically it's your life, and you talk about growing up in Detroit, tough upbringing. There was a lot of crack going on at the time.
The 80s.
In the 80s. And so, you know, it actually reminded me, I read a bit of it, but it reminded me a little bit of, did you read Michelle Obama's autobiography?
Yes.
Of somebody who was able to be surrounded by that world and then come out of it with, you know, with your head on straight. And, you know, what do you attribute that to?
You know, it's just being from Detroit. Everybody in Detroit is hard. Even though we have bad times, we're going to find some levity. And I know I get my sense of humor from Detroit because everybody is funny. The mailman, the wino. So I have to attribute that, you know, but getting out of it, you know, where you from, Greg?
I'm from New York.
Yeah. See, East Coast people, we just, you know, I don't want to go this East Coast, West Coast thing, but it was just something about the snow.
Yep.
It makes you hard. You know?
It does. It makes you funny. And I think there's also like a sense of humor there of ball busting that they don't get here in Los Angeles. I've gotten more fucking trouble in my career for just fucking around, just toying around with people.
Yeah. Everybody's feelings hurt.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, really, you know, and so it's a difference in a different sense of humor, and we get it. And even in dark times, you know, the crackhead, he'll sell you your stuff back. You know, it's like, that's funny. It's like, you know what I mean? So growing up like that, you know, and having that hard life. But this is the thing, Greg, I didn't know I was poor until I watched television. I thought everybody didn't have a daddy. I thought everybody just, you know, went to bed hungry. Like, that's what we do in the projects. Yeah. And it wasn't until I watched television, and I think that's what made me really want to get on television, because I saw a different type of life on TV that was different than all around me. And so I think that's what really made me pursue entertainment in the long run. You know, it's how I grew up.
Do you ever feel like a guilt that things have turned out so well for you? And I'm sure you have friends that sort of you left behind that aren't doing so well.
Yeah, well, most of my friends are dead because of the whole crack war. Right. So what I'm trying to do is tell this story to honor them. So when people say, well, why are you trying to push this story? Because it's important for everybody to tell their stories. And I think in this country, if we're going to all start really getting along, we need to understand that people have different backgrounds, and we have to start respecting how people and why people are the way they are. You got to look at how they grew up. And so I wanted to share my story so that they could understand that this is just one Black female's story. There are other Black females that they grew up with dads. They, you know, they didn't get kicked out at 17 by their mother, but this was mine, and in a project environment. So I wanted to just give people a taste of what that was. But also, just because you grow up in humble beginnings and poor beginnings doesn't mean that you can't make it out. Right. So the whole story is explaining what happened to me and how I met, you know, the fabulous people. I talk about Chelsea Lately. I talk about you guys and how we met.
You talk about me?
All the time. You know, the woman I collaborated with, Janine Amber, she loves your podcast.
Oh, really?
She loves you.
Wow.
She low-key had a crush because I was like, what is happening? It's just his podcast. It's so funny. And I just think do you know him? I'm like, yeah, I'm on the show with him.
Why are you shocked that a woman has a crush on me? Look at me. I mean, this is like, women love this now. This is hot.
I tell her about you, because my first book, we talked about it on your podcast, and she just lost it.
Yeah.
And she's going to lose it again.
Yeah.
So I have to tell her. But yeah, she has this massive, she just loves the podcast. And then it went over into a crush, and then it started getting creepy. And I was like, that's my friend, stop. So
that's so great that you found somebody that you liked and trusted, and it worked out well enough that you worked with them again. That's rare, because that's a very intimate, trusting relationship.
Oh yeah, because when you write a memoir, you reveal stuff, and you have to go through this journey. You have to relive all these, sometimes the happy events, but the sad events, And so to find a collaborator that understood that and that I felt, good with, she's just a great girl.
I wrote a memoir also, and it wasn't as heavy. Like, I didn't grow up specifically in a project, but my house only had 3 floors, and we only belonged to one country club. So it was very similar in some ways, because my private school was had 2 black kids in it. So like, I get it. But my memoir, but I did have an alcoholic dad who was abusive. So I did hit parts in writing the memoir that really triggered stuff for me. And I would get depressed for like a week sometimes when I had to write a certain part of my life. Did you experience that?
I didn't get depressed, but I would only get in that moment, because I've been through it so much through my life that it would only do like for an hour. Like, I would get upset for maybe an hour, and then I get myself out of it, because I know, what I had to go through to get there and where I am now. So it was just a mind game that I played on myself, But it's important for people to share their stories, because I wish I had this book that I have now. I wish I had that at 20, because, there wasn't books like this around when I was going through what I was going through, and I didn't have anybody to talk to. Like I said, my mom had kicked me out. I was homeless. So I'm sitting in this beat up Chevy Chevette with a floor open and it's rusted out, and I'm just sleeping in it. And I had, I could have taken my life. I could have, but I needed someone to talk to, and I had nobody. So I think in a way that's why I wrote this book too, because no matter whether you're a male or a female, a lot of young people are going through things and they have nobody to talk to. They have nowhere to turn. I just wanted it to kind of be some type of inspiration and give them some hope, that, you might be going through a dark spot right now in your life, but guarantee you can get out of it. And so that's really why I really wrote it.
That's amazing. And again, I can relate, because I remember going to my high-paid psychoanalyst when I was a teenager and driving there in my father's Lincoln Town Car. And I remember thinking, I hope people can learn something from my struggle.
They can. What did the therapist say, Greg? That's what's important.
He said that I shouldn't feel guilty about all this wealth, that I should just, not share it, but just not feel bad about it. That was his advice.
Don't feel bad about it. Become a motivational speaker and say, hey, you could be wealthy too if you get off your ass.
Right. That's right. Bootstraps, people. Bootstraps.
That's what it is. It's easy. Get you some rich parents. I'm sorry. We're born with old lazy, poor parents.
Your wealth is a direct indication of how hard you're trying. Remember that, poor people. I think that is really the heart of it, is that people really are defined in our society by how much money they have, much more. I mean, I've traveled around the world, and it's just not like that. There's not, in most countries, it's about lifestyle, it's about community, and money is just something that, is secondary.
But don't you think, I don't know, with everything that's happening, that it's making us realign ourselves and realize that money is not what's important anymore? and we're going to have to do a reset. I think a lot of this that's happening with this, with the quarantining, with the COVID, with the protests, is about us realigning, and we're going to get tired. You know, a lot of people are fighting, a lot of people are trying to figure things out, but it's really like a reset, I believe, and it's going to make us realize that it's not about money, it's about Greg's wealth.
And you know, I hope you can tell your co-writer about the wealth, because that's going to put her over the top.
Oh, she's
was
gonna
already
lose
intimate. Yeah,
she's gonna go straight orgasm once I tell her that.
Oh my God, that's what happens with this podcast. All right, Loni, listen, I know you're limited on time, so I'm going to let you go. But
thank you, Greg.
So great to see you.
So great, and I want us to talk again when I have more time. But thank you so much.
That'd be great. And don't forget, check out Loni's memoir. I tried to change so you don't have to. True Life Lessons. Also, she's new. You're on WETV's Bridezillas.
Yes, have a new job.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.
Bye, boo boo.
All right, bye.